Thoughtful Connections, a memory care podcast, aims to provide general information and insights about dementia and related topics. The content shared is not intended to be medical advice or a substitute for professional medical or clinical guidance. The purpose or goal of this podcast series is to help inform and educate family members considering memory care for a loved one. Coming to you live from the Haidee and Allen Wild Center for the Arts on the Cottey College campus in Nevada, Missouri. With us, as always, is Elizabeth Thompson, Arrow Senior Living Senior Regional Director of Memory Care. Welcome. I'm Charlie Johnson, your host. Well, hello, Elizabeth. It is great to be with you today.
Good to see you, Charlie. It's been a while.
Well, it has. It's been way too long. We're in for a special treat today because not only do we have a live audience here at Cottey College, but we're also going to change our regular format, and we'll be taking questions from the students today.
Love it.
All right. Now, before we begin, let's please remind our audience and listeners, as well as our watchers, of your experience as well as your qualifications.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, I started out in home care and hospice, went to an activity director, then became a memory care director, and just continued to work my way up. My passion is helping families navigate the dementia journey. I am a certified Alzheimer's and dementia care trainer. I am also a certified Montessori Dementia Care Professional trainer and a positive approach to care trainer. There's some other ones in there, but there's just too many.
That's a lot of training. No wonder you're on the road all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Well, again, thank you for that information. So to start our conversation today, we'll explore aging broadly before moving into senior living, dementia, and memory care.
Perfect.
So I see we have a couple of students lined up out there that have maybe a couple of questions on aging. So okay. Let's take our first question on aging.
From your perspective, what habits or choices can younger generations make now to support healthier aging later in life?
Okay, for our younger generation to support healthier aging for later in life, what you can do now is be healthy. Make sure that you're eating a healthy diet, making sure that you're exercising, even if it's just walking. Also, your social connections are so important. We think about just our friendships and personal touch. Those things are also important as well and will benefit you cognitively also. Learning new things is a great way to keep your brain healthy too.
I'll add to that. When I was your age, I never expected to live to be 67. That never even crossed my mind. And I didn't take very good care of my health as a 20 or even a 30-year-old. It wasn't until I got into my 50s that I realized how important my health was. And that's when I really started making healthy choices and healthy decisions. So make those smart choices early, and it will really benefit you. And so I'll just throw that out there as well.
It's a lot harder the older we get.
No, absolutely. You really appreciate your health, especially as you get older. So take care of yourself young. All right, we got one more question, it looks like. Go ahead.
How has the experience of aging changed over the last few decades, and what changes do you anticipate for the future?
Oh, goodness. It's changed a lot. I think just people are much more active as seniors, more than before. I mean, I can remember, even growing up, my grandparents just being more sedentary. And now I think, oh my gosh, I need to get my steps in so that, I can hang out with my imaginary, hopefully soon, grandkids that will come along. But just more active. What about you?
No, I think seniors certainly are more active, but I think they're also more educated about the importance of, as you mentioned earlier, being social and being active and taking care of themselves. And I think you're going to see, along with that education, I'm just going to throw this out there, AI is going to become more and more prevalent, and it's going to become more and more important for an aging society and helping them. We hear a lot of negative things about AI, but I think you're going to start seeing that really come into play in aging society and older adults as well.
Yeah, and people are living a lot longer. Not always healthier, but definitely living longer. We celebrate so many centenarian birthdays.
I have no idea how many we have in our communities. I'm
bunch.
guessing, 20, 30?
At least.
Centenarians, and some as old as 103.
Yeah.
In our senior living communities. So that gives us a great foundation. So let's build on that, okay, by talking about where and how older adults live. And we kind of touched on that. So do we have any questions out there about senior living? Who wants to ask some questions? Oh, I see a few students moving toward the mic. So again, senior living, we actually work for a senior living company, and our company has well over 44, 45 senior living communities located here in the Midwest. So let's talk about senior living. So who has the first question? Go ahead.
How has senior living evolved over time to better support independence, dignity, and quality of life?
Oh, gosh. It's changed tremendously for the better. I think used to, when you would think senior living, you would think institutionalized nursing homes. And now senior living is this beautiful, vibrant place that is a home, with beautiful furniture and big screen TVs and gazebos and fitness centers and swimming pools. And, it's just changed so much. And the technology that we have now, that can keep people safe. We have technology called Inspirin Augie system, which tells us when someone has fallen in their apartment. So we know instantly, and then that notifies us. We have Wonder Guards for residents who, are elopement risk, who are living with dementia, but they look like an Apple Watch, and so I think protecting dignity is key, but there's just so many options available now.
Sure, there's all kinds of levels of senior living.
Yeah.
We as in Arrow Senior Living, we offer independent living, we offer assisted living, for individuals that maybe just need some help, with certain things, and as well as, of course, memory care, which we're going to get into. But one thing you had mentioned about independence. People oftentimes have a misconception about independence. They think that that's doing everything on your own. Well, that's not the case. Independence is doing what you can on your own. You're independent to that point, and we always help a person be as independent as they can, right?
Yes, we focus on the abilities that are remaining, not what's lost. And I think that's a big paradigm shift from, 30 years ago in senior living. It was, well, they can't.
We go with what they can. Who's next?
How do communities balance resident safety with personal choice and independence?
Okay. Excuse me. I think that goes along with some of the things we just talked about as far as, that independence. We want to be able to keep our residents safe, but yet safe doesn't necessarily mean not have fun. And so, we have a lot of outings. All of our communities have a big bus, and they take day trips. And we had some that just went to the casino. I think, gosh, it's just limitless as to what we can do in our communities.
Sure. Every Friday, they plan for and look forward to happy hour. And it's just a big deal in all the communities and in each neighborhood of every community. And when I speak of neighborhoods, I'm talking again about the independent living, assisted living, memory care. All neighborhoods have happy hour, and no one is left out, and they all look forward to it every Friday.
I think too, just thinking about that question, one thing I love about Arrow Senior Living, our company, is that our uniforms are very different than what you see in a typical assisted living, memory care, nursing home. We don't wear scrubs. We wear joggers and T-shirts that are fun with different arrowized themes on them. And I think that makes a difference too, because then the people that are living there don't feel like they're in a clinical setting. It is more like home. We even have a special color for memory care. Yes. Purple. Lavender.
I have a lavender color for memory care. So they're not taken back by the dark black. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's move forward. Next, we're going to talk about dementia. So if you have a dementia question, go ahead and move toward the mic. So let's focus on that. Now, this is an area that impacts millions of families across America. Not just families, but also caregivers as well. And so, again, this is a topic that we talk about on every podcast. I think what we've released 70 podcasts so far, and when we get finished here with this session, we'll have 82 podcasts.
Oh my gosh!
Can you believe we've been doing it this long?
No,
we've been doing it since we were teenagers. So again, we've got dementia as a topic. Who has the first question on dementia?
How does dementia affect a person beyond memory loss, particularly their sense of self and identity?
Yeah, so dementia affects more than just memory loss. It affects the way that they see their surroundings. It affects mood and behavior. It eventually affects their ability to walk and speak and move. I think as we age, with or without dementia, things change. And I know even for myself, just thinking about how I was Savannah and Sawyer's mom for so long. And it's like, you have to okay, who am I now? Because they're grown and gone. So who am I now? And I think with dementia, that impact is even stronger because if they're not recognizing their surroundings, but they are remembering that maybe they were a teacher for 30 years, that could be very scary. It can be very scary.
Sure. Another thing that I don't believe you mentioned is eyesight is another thing that's greatly affected by dementia. In fact, we have another podcast that we're going to record in this session about how eyesight is affected by dementia. And it's not the eyes themselves, but how the brain perceives what's coming through the eyes.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about that. But another thing, and just kind of a general statement, and I just know this based on my education from Elizabeth, is that with dementia, they can wake up in a different world every day. You don't know, if someone is 85 with dementia, are they going to wake up in their world as a 20-year-old thinking they're 20? Or are they going to wake up as a 40-year-old thinking they have children at home? Mm-hmm. Are they going to wake up as a 70-year-old, and thinking they're still married to their husband? And so every day, as a caregiver, they have to figure out, where are they? Yeah. Where are they in their journey? And join them in that journey.
There's a great short video out called Ruth that you can search the internet for that I think it's maybe 12 minutes, but a great video on an elderly woman who's living with dementia and just how confused it's.
Mm-hmm. No, it's go on and on. What's the next question on dementia?
What early signs of dementia do families or caregivers sometimes miss?
I would say the mood changes. I had a family once that a husband and wife were going to marriage counseling because she thought her husband was having a midlife crisis, but really they were emotional changes that ended up being tied to dementia. He had frontal temporal lobe dementia, which really affects thinking, communication, and they lose that filter, so not knowing what's appropriate and what's not to say at certain times. And so, yeah, I would say the mood changes that go along with that, and then also finances. Finances is a big one. I know for my stepfather was purchasing Publishers Clearinghouse socks. I mean, he's a metallurgical engineer. Why? So, yeah.
Well, with my mother, the first indicator was repeating the same question. She would ask a question, I would answer it. A minute or two later, she would ask the same question. And so I would answer it, but I would answer it in a different way, but with the same outcome. And it would be a few minutes later, she would ask the same question. And I would answer it, but again, trying not to answer it in the same way that I'd answered it previously. That was the indicator to me that we got a problem going on here. Who's next?
What current advancements or changes in dementia care give you the most hope?
Oh gosh, I mean, they keep changing. There's all kinds of medications right now. I think the medications that are out there, they show hope, but they're still very expensive, not available to everyone. Even with insurance, they can be very pricey and really need to be started early on. I would think, to me though, just the progression that we've made in care of dementia, joining their reality, used to, you would just see people in wheelchairs all up by a nurse's station. And we're really promoting that best life possible, even while they have dementia. Another thing that has come up recently is the use of cannabis with people who are living with dementia. And so I'm anxious to see where that goes. I'm actually taking a class on that coming up pretty soon. I know that there's still some, regulatory things. I know that we aren't allowed as healthcare providers to administer that. And so right now, if we have someone who's living with dementia and their family has been giving them that, they have to come in and give it to them and then, go about their business, which is kind of a pain. So I'm hoping that changes because there are a lot of great research studies being done on that right now.
I'll just add the importance of funding for research and how important that is. Of course, with the Alzheimer's Society and many others, but certainly the importance of continued research. And at some point, maybe we will find something that. But again, remember, there are how many different types of dementia that's been recognized?
Well, let's ask you guys. What do you think? How many types of dementia do you think there are?
Who has a guess?
Just a guess.
Shout out a number. 12.
Who else?
12.
Higher.
Over 100.
That's right.
Over 100. Great job.
Over 100
yes.
different types. How many?
Right now, to my knowledge, there's over 124. But I would say 10 years ago, that number was like 80. So we're just learning more and more all the time.
So again, dementia is the umbrella. And then you got all these different types. And of course, Alzheimer's is the most common type that you hear and most people talk about. But Lewy body is another one. Frontotemporal is another one. Vascular dementia. Those are kind of the most common ones that you hear about and people talk about. But there are all these different ones, and oftentimes an individual may have more than one type of dementia at the same time. All right, we are going to wind this down talking about memory care. So if you have a memory care question, make your way toward the microphone. So building on talking about dementia, let's talk about memory care and the specialized support that memory care provides. Are you prepared for that, Elizabeth?
I think so.
Do you know anything about memory care?
Just a little.
Okay, all right. Who has the first question on memory care?
How do caregivers establish trust and connection with residents who may struggle with recognition or communication?
Oh, that's such a great question. I used to tell my memory care support partners that they may not remember your name, but they will remember how you made them feel. And so, our approach is key. How we're approaching them. Are we approaching them with a smile? Are we being calm and caring? There's many times that our friends living with dementia may not be able to communicate any longer. And so we do a lot of visual cues, like the wave. I mean, just saying hi is a good way. It's what's the word I'm looking for? A universal sign of I'm being friendly. Hi, Charlie. It's about time for lunch. You hungry? Want to eat? Let's go. Using those visual cues to help someone navigate through their day. But kindness and smiles go a long way. There's actually some types of dementias that only respond if you're smiling. And I just find that so interesting. So smile, get your smile on.
Yeah, just be kind, be gentle, just like as if you were helping your grandparents.
Yeah.
Just imagine if you were taking care of a grandparent, how would you want to treat them? How would you want to talk with them?
Mm-hmm.
And just be calm, be gentle, slow down. Oftentimes people try to go too fast, too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's slow it down.
Yeah.
Everything's calm, gentle, slow, and oftentimes people, if you pose a question, give them time to respond.
90 seconds.
Give them time to think about what was said and to come up with a response. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But at the very least, give them time to respond. Who else has a question?
How can families remain involved in a way that supports their loved one while respecting the expertise of memory care professionals?
Great question. So, at Arrow, we really like to incorporate our families into the neighborhood. One thing that happens when a family member brings their loved one, their mom, their dad, their husband or wife or brother or sister to a memory care neighborhood is a lot of guilt and where do I fit in now? I was taking care of my mom. How do I fit into her world again? So we want them to be active in our neighborhoods. We always like to ask, what do you like to do? Is there something that you would like to do in our neighborhood? We have a lady that comes frequently with her dog to visit communities. We have another one who comes and just helps serve lunch. And what's really neat to me and just special and just a testimony to our amazing caregivers is that a lot of times these family volunteers continue to come after their loved one passes. And that, I just got that knot in my throat. That to me is very special. We want those relationships. I think we provide a lot of education and support for our families. And I think that's also key, because we want them to have a great relationship with their person who's living with dementia. But sometimes they don't know all the tips and tricks and tools to have a successful relationship. We also want them to go back to being the daughter or the wife or the brother or the sister instead of the caregiver. So a lot of it is us educating them on how to be successful.
Sure, how to give up that caregiver role,
right,
and go back to being that son or daughter or brother or sister or whatever it might be, and that's tough for a lot of folks to give up.
Oh yeah.
And so again, the reason we do this podcast is to help educate family members. But we also have virtual education, the ongoing. We have support groups. We have clinical, what is Sandy's title?
Social worker.
Professional clinical social worker that has support groups. I mean, we are there for family members during and while if they are caregiving, and even after. We are there for support for the family throughout the process.
I think too, one thing that I do see on a negative note is sometimes families will come in and spend all day, all evening in their person who is living with dementia's apartment. And that's not good. I mean, I think sometimes that's a little bit of codependency maybe, or just fear that they're going to be lonely. And really when they step away for a little bit, they see that, oh, I didn't think Dad was going to participate in anything, and he's involved in everything, but giving that time to that person to check things out and explore and flourish.
Sure. Just give them some time. So Elizabeth, as we wrap this up, what's one takeaway that you hope these students leave with about aging, dementia, or working in this field?
Oh, goodness. I would say don't think that aging is something that happens to other people, because it's going to happen to you. I didn't think that it would happen to me, but here I am. Also, just the way that we treat people who are aging and how we treat older adults, it really reflects our values as a society. And so start now having that respect for older adults, because one day it will be you.
And there is a lot of opportunity in senior living.
Oh gosh,
I mean,
so much, limitless.
There are so many job opportunities in so many different levels, and not just personal care, but
culinary arts.
Oh my word!
Plant operations.
It's just on and on and on and on. So if you're struggling trying to figure out what you want to do when you grow up, check out senior living. See if there might be something there for you. Well, I want to thank the Cottey College students. Thank you all for asking some great questions today. Elizabeth, thank you for sharing your experiences and some excellent responses.
Thanks, Charlie.
And thank you all for sharing your time with us.
Woo!
At Arrow Senior Living, we believe in the power of a chuckle, maintaining a childlike sense of wonder, and defending the dignity of others. Until next time, this is Charlie Johnson with Arrow's Thoughtful Connections, a memory care podcast, wishing you fond memories filled with moments of joy. And remember, if you've met one person with dementia, you've met one person with dementia.
You can find Thoughtful Connections, a memory care podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts.